Hello and welcome to the 4Corners podcast. I'm Brad, joined as always by Matt and Shad. Gentlemen, how are you doing this evening?
Hey,
Doing good.
So we have some wrestling to chat about tonight. Quite a bit actually, because we have two pay-per-views or a PLE as they call them now. I don't like. It's a pay-per-view. And well, it is a pay-per-view again though. That's the other thing. It's technically a pay-per-view now because you have to pay ESPN. Um, and then we have Full Gear to talk about, and then we have like a bit of, I would guess, small housekeeping that got announced today, which is starting January 15th. TNA is going to be on AMC on Thursday nights, which I don't I don't have much to say about that. I think that's ultimately good for TNA because it's more visibility. I don't really think it's going to be like, I think they'll get some more fans out of it. I don't think it's going to really be a difference maker for them at all. And I think they absolutely torpedoed interest in their product going into it too. So,
It I would say it depends entirely on what they're going to do. They are there was initial reports that somehow said like, well, they are going to end the WWE partnership, and then that quickly got walked back. Where it's like, no, it's going to continue. So it's like, all right, then this is really just the WWE doing yet another like developmental brand kind of. They
yeah.
basically cucked out TNA to be
yeah.
their and a developmental brand that they can throw people at that they actually don't own, you know, at least not on paper. But what are they going to do with it? Because the roster by itself is terrible. Uh, they've lost anyone who actually had some heat to them that WWE either has or is getting. I think Joe Hendry, like,
Yeah.
did he just
Joe
sign
Hendry
with
signed,
WWE? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan
It,
Grace left
it feels
like
like
last year.
Hendry's kind of like the polish is off of him already. It feels like he's not as big a
Oh,
deal as he was like
oh, he isn't.
6 months
Like
ago.
again, yeah, the kind of joke and everything is already kind of worn thin with him. But that's something that I mean, look, our truth is very clever, but our truth has been still on their TV for years and years and years now. So I mean, they could probably always do with a comedy character that they'll put on there, and
Yeah.
so he's probably safe for like a few years at
I
this
think if
point. But
you I think if you didn't like run him into the ground like he shows up maybe every couple of months to do his gag and all that stuff, because I think he has a little more going for him than like Elias did.
mm,
I think he's like a little bit better of a worker, but
he's a little better
What
for a
was
worker, and even though the gimmick's kind of like already old at this point. Like he's actually a kind of clever guy, so he could probably find another way to get himself over,
hmm
or do some comedy stuff, and it's actually pretty good. Like I told you before, like at this point it's like 3 years ago or something long, but he did the Yuya Uemura. I can't
yeah.
remember his name. In New Japan, like when he was doing his excursion in TNA, he did a very short-termed tag team with Joe Hendry called Joya,
Yeah.
and they had a great entrance. They just came out, it was like Joya, and they were dancing like clapping, and it's the dumbest thing ever that I loved. I'm like, I want this tag team pushed to the moon, and they tagged. I think they tagged for like a month or two, and
Yeah.
Yumura was like gone, back to New Japan. But
Yeah.
But
I
I
don't know.
think I I kind of wonder too, in a greater sense, how much the current market can deal with having wrestling on almost every night too. I think that's kind of an issue.
It, it's running at a weird time. It's going from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Yeah.
And the contract is weird that they have like a 60-day like out clause, meaning like I guess if like in the first 2 months if it doesn't do well or to their liking,
Um,
they could cancel it.
that
I kind of
that's
it
kind of smart
might
because 2 months is about when you'll figure out what the ratings are going to be
yeah, I
at.
agree. And Meltzer is kind of like, oh, this is great for TNA, and like it is,
It is because they're
but
actually getting money too. Like getting any money
yeah,
for their TV is like a big win for them. I think
Yeah.
he's right, but I don't think it's going to change much for them.
that's the thing. He's like, oh, it's great, and I think, but his mindset seems to be like, well,
He's
AMC
thinking
is on more, home is on more homes. Like more homes can tune into AMC, so they'll get a bigger audience. And it's like, I don't know that they will, because
AMC's kind of at a low point because I think someone in our Discord was saying like their best shows do like 400,000 viewers.
and I think the main one ended, but I think those would probably be like a spin-off of
Yeah.
Walking Dead, maybe. I don't know.
And it's not
But
like they don't have like an audience that like is into sports or like wrestling. Like that didn't seem to affect NXT on CW, but I don't know how like the AMC crowd is going to take to it. Like I don't know how great of a fit it is. And what was I going to say? I just don't think I don't think, and I think if TNA was a better product and a better booked company, I think they could do something with it. But any forward progress they make, they'll pull like what they did with Santana and just like tank everything.
they don't have a good roster, and we'll see if it continues, that if they'll get a better roster versus just like they're continuing to get NXT guys or WWE ID guys that the WWE is lending
But like
them.
who's out there? But I think that's kind of a
There
deeper issue for
kinda
them though.
isn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who, even if like let's say AEW and WWE like let some people go and maybe WWE filtered like a couple people to you. Who is out there that reasonably could become available in a year that would even make like a difference for them? Because like
Make a
everyone's
difference?
well, because
I
I
don't
think
know.
there's some issues like WWE and AEW has signed everyone up. There's a lot of people on the market that no one cares about, and I think there's a lot of other people that like if it was 3 or 4 years ago might have been a difference maker, but people are tired of.
Make a difference? I don't know that there's like really an answer to that. There's probably a few guys that they could get, which are mostly just like WWE cast-offs. Like they could probably try and get Killer Cross. They could probably try and get
Yeah, but no one's
Baron
gonna.
Corbin, the
Who,
former Baron Corbin. These aren't difference makers, but they're at least names that people would know.
I would
So
say
I don't know.
Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin, I would not be like interested in, but I think he could be a net neutral for them. I think Killer Cross would be a net negative in general.
What is it? It's not Baron Corbin. It's what, Bishop Dyer? Is that what he goes by now?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
I think that guy's got enough to be a solid presence for them. Like, I wasn't ever a big fan of his, but I really think more of that came out of really the booking and how he was used. Because when he was doing like the Lone Wolf thing in NXT, that was pretty cool. But he's also kind of getting a Goldberg push. I think he could be solid for him. You know, a good, solid new person. I don't think that he's going to make the difference alone.
I don't think they have difference makers, to be honest. I
No.
think
No.
if I
Well,
I could like
I think Santana was kind of not like Santana wasn't like a big difference maker, but I think why the Santana thing is such a poor booking decision is like, yeah, he was in AEW, but like he was this guy that was distinctly theirs in that role. Like he was someone that you saw a bit in AEW in a tag team, but like TNA had kind of molded him into like their top guy. He was distinctly like a TNA guy in that role, and then they just totally like
And
cut his knees
people
out.
were getting behind him.
Yeah,
yeah.
People were getting
They-
behind him, and then they did that stupid ass
and he had a good
title
story.
change.
I think he had a good story. Like I think he was really running with the ball. Like he did better than I thought he would because he really took his opportunity and went with it. And they totally cut him off at the knees. Like I don't think you can, like you can't just have him beat like Kazarian on the first episode of the AMC Impact and it's gonna have the same resonance that he would have coming in as champion. Like I think they've really
They've
screwed that up.
Yeah, I think they've damaged him, and everyone kind of expects that he's going to go to the WWE whenever he can, which I think is probably, I think his contract's up soon. If they could keep him, then he's a guy who I'd be like, base the company around him, like have him be like your top face. And is he going to be like a needle mover? Like, no, but he's a good enough guy, and he is
distinctly theirs. I think that's what's
yeah,
important.
he's unique enough that I feel like, yeah, you could have him be like your top face. You could have him be like your one of your cornerstones to building the brand. If I had the book and I was like running talent relations, honestly, I'd be scouring for what you can. I know like the indie scene isn't great, but I'd be trying to scour like the indie scene to see really like smaller, like lightweight guys, and just market myself as like, I got a bunch of high flyers, I got a bunch of like lightweight cruiserweights, and really beef up like the X division without saying your X, and to have those guys featured, that would make you kind of
You're insane.
different.
Yeah.
But I don't know that there's really like a ton of guys out there that they could get.
No, you would, in order for that to be, I think, really good, you would have to start dipping into the lucha stuff, and that's not happening right now. Like
No,
that,
and
those camps are pretty well established.
and
Yeah.
see, and lucha is pretty accessible too, and better lucha. And then like if if AEW wants to, they have access to better luchadors. They have
Yeah.
access to the best luchadors.
I think the thing that gets me about TNA, and I know we already said this, but the Santana story proved that the good booking could draw people in. Because what is it that folks, when you watch wrestling, what do you really want to see? You're wanting to see good storytelling that's going to draw you in with good in-ring product.
And you want
Maybe that's just us.
you want good payoffs. Like that's what I hate. It's a problem we've talked about with modern writing in general. Is like predictable isn't bad. Like if you're saying, "Hey,
No.
come watch this guy you really want to see win the title. We promise you he's going to win the title on this pay-per-view," and he does. Yeah, that was predictable, but it worked. Like WrestleMania. WrestleMania used to work before Triple H fucked it all up. Because you get excited for WrestleMania because the guy they had been building around was almost always promised to win the title at WrestleMania for like the first 15 of them.
Well, okay. Just easy off the top of my head ones. Hangman Page going into Y'all In. So the build is he going to win the title? Yeah, he's going to win the title. Everyone wants to see him win the title. He wins the title. Everybody's happy about it. Having Mox go over Jericho. It's like, yeah, pretty sure we're going to do this. And you know what? They did. And people were happy to see it. Going back to the Yes movement, WrestleMania 30, they didn't want to have that happen, but whenever the momentum was too much that they could deny it, it was like, oh, Danielson's going to win this. And when he does, we're happy about it.
Austin beating Michaels.
As opposed to, and I'm not using a WWE example. I'm going back getting up at 30 years now. When that's not what happened for Sting Hogan at Starrcade, everyone took a massive dump on it and it pissed them off.
Yeah.
People want, when you watch wrestling, you want stuff that's engaging. I'm trying to make this universal for every kind of fan in the way I say this. You want stuff that's engaging. You want stuff that's fun to watch.
You want someone you can root for.
You want someone you can root for. You don't want to feel insulted for watching it. And you want to have a good ending. Because in America, Ted DiBiase said this in a shoot interview a long time ago. He said, in Japan it's treated as a sport. But in America, wrestling is a morality play. You have the villain does villain things, and the hero triumphs and beats the villain. If you never have the hero triumph and beat the villain, or if the hero's triumph sucks, just seems like a banana peel for the villain, if it seems like the hero couldn't actually do it, or, if it's unsatisfying, that's the word I'm looking for, then people don't like it. And so when you don't have the excitement of, like you said, building to WrestleMania and having the babyface payoff, and then that resets the clock and you start the new cycle of stories, then people quit caring.
Yeah, 'cause
People
you
just kind
can't
of give up and
you
go,
can't pull the
well,
rug out from under them repeatedly and have
yeah.
them. I think
So-
Cornette talked about that once with the Sheik's territory in Toronto. Like they had Andre come in to
Yeah.
take on the Sheik, and this match is out there, and everyone's like, okay, Andre the Giant's coming in. The Sheik's gonna finally lose, and then he fireballs Andre, and he loses by countout, or the Sheik loses by DQ. But that's it. He doesn't get beat. The town never has like the crowds start going down because then the crowds are like, well, if Andre the Giant can't beat the Sheik, then who is going to beat the Sheik? Like that's
Then yeah, there's no point to us coming to watching because we're never going to get what we want.
yeah.
And that was a finger that I pointed at Vince for a long time, because he would tease giving fans what they wanted and then take it away.
It's so
It's
weird
like
with
if you
Vince because he was so good at doing that for so long, and then he just like went. I think the problem is like he got people like Triple H in his ear, who has like a massive boner for like '80s NWA and doesn't understand like why it worked, and so then you saw more and more Triple H influence, and then that's why Vince got away from it.
I'm not even going to put it all on Triple H. I'm going to say that Vince's disdain for his own audience grew out, and it became, I don't care what you're telling me, you're going to take what I give you and you're going to like it, damn it. And it's like people don't want to tune in and watch that. They
Yeah,
don't care. Take any TV show that starts off strong and then dies. What happens is they don't give people what they want.
yeah.
They don't have anything fulfilling. This is gonna be just a weird ass comparison, so please bear with me for a second. My wife, who has been between work, part of what she's been doing while she's doing stuff around the house, because we have a Max subscription, is just binging Big Bang Theory. What's the payoff that a lot of people are looking for? That is to see these characters get in satisfying relationships. And the primary characters that you expected with Leonard and Penny didn't. But the thing is, they had other characters establish satisfying relationships, so it was able to build up, even though what was seen as like the main couple of the show wasn't always together. There was enough going on that built it up and structured it enough that you could still have emotionally satisfying stuff happen. That's a weird comparison.
Well,
I know.
look at. I'll use a great example of something they kind of botched. Is like when they had the Rhodes family. That's the last thing I emotionally cared about with WWE. When they had the Rhodes family, and that story had to get finished in AEW to finally have the Cody Dustin thing. And I'll use another great example of how something can be really liked at the time, but a bad ending can totally tank you to the point that you just kind of lose relevance going forward. Is How I Met Your Mother. Like that show would be much bigger still if like they didn't botch the ending, but like you never hear
screwed the ending up.
But you never hear about it anymore because the ending was bad, so it just kind of lost relevance.
Game of Thrones.
Yep, Game of Thrones.
Yeah. If you screw up the ending, it sours the whole thing. Here, better example. Every season of Justified had Raylan go up against a new special villain. Like Boyd was always around.
Villain of the season, basically, is how I put it. Yeah.
Yeah. And what happens is Raylan overcomes the villain of the season. He's got the frenemy thing with Boyd, so that's kind of like, does that really count? But he eventually overcomes the villain of the season every season. And you know why they did it for 6 seasons, and they could have kept going, but they said from the beginning, we said, we're doing 6 and we're out. Because they're like, we think we can do this well, and once we get to that point, we end, because we don't want to drag it till it doesn't end the way we want it to. And it's satisfying. You watch the whole thing, and sooner or later, Raylan's going to shoot that guy you hate right in the middle of the chest, and you're going to hear somebody different every season saying, "You'll never leave Harlan alive," and he turns, and he walks, and he gets back in his car, and he drives away. And you're just like, I've been waiting for that.
Well, the best is that he would, usually like the first episode of the season, he'd tell them like, knock it off, or I'm going to shoot you. And then by the end of the season, what does he do? He shoots them.
Yeah,
because they didn't knock it off. But
yeah,
we dug coal together.
We dug coal together. Yeah,
that I actually could talk about that. I talked to you guys offline because I've actually finished. My wife and I watched that series. We finally finished it this year, like just a few months ago, and I actually felt that the ending was quite powerful because it actually felt it's actually quite sad. Like if you think about their relationship, and the dynamics of the Raylan Givens, Boyd Crowder. But that's some justified lore for the people who.
We'll save that for another time.
Yeah. I feel like the end of Sopranos kind of hurt it going forward too. Like it doesn't feel like it. It feels like it kind of lost some of its relevance after the ending. At the time.
I feel it's come around again because a lot of people will tweet Sopranos stuff and people are appreciating Sopranos again. But I do agree with you. Like for a long time, people were just obsessed with what the hell was that ending?
Yeah.
It wasn't as hated as How I Met Your Mother or the Game of Thrones ending, but it was kind of just
they want something more definitive.
Why can't you give us a clear resolution?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was left very heavily to your. It was left very heavily to your interpretation of what it was, which I don't think, which the show hadn't built. The show hadn't have built to that. I think even if that guy just walked up behind him and put 2 bullets in his head, and the end is him just falling to the ground, I think that would have gone over better than what they did.
I mean, that would have fit with the motif of, mob life is rough, and then Tony ended up getting it, here at the end of the last season, oddly enough, he got his, and that's what it was. Well, okay, we know how it ends. If you don't build your whole thing around this interpretation of what happens, which most TV doesn't, then that's not what the crowd wants out of it. They want you to tell the story. They want you to finish the story,
I'll use a different example where the ending is very open-ended like that, but it worked for the movie because but it was a movie, not a TV show, but it worked. Like The Wrestler, the end where it's just Randy jumping off the top rope and you kind of fill in what happens to him in your head. That worked for that movie, but they built to.
I came to for me watching it, I feel very confident in saying I know exactly what happened when Randy jumped.
Dies instantly.
Maybe not instantly, but yeah, it's he does that and they take what they had set up earlier in the movie. It's he gonna die. And when someone asked me about it, they said, "Why do you think that?" I said, "Honestly, that's the happier ending for Randy in that movie."
Yeah.
As jacked up as that is Randy's happy ending.
If I ever successfully build a time machine, I'm gonna go back to when that movie comes out and I'm gonna find Bryan Danielson and I'm gonna smack him with a rolled up newspaper and say, "This is not a life goal."
Hey, Danielson. Hey, I heard an interview out of him a few months ago where everyone's like, "So, you said it was your end of your full time. You're gonna do some one-off stuff?" And Danielson's statement was, "You know what? After everything I've done and I've gone home and seeing how my body is and everything, I'm done." And I was just like, "Oh my God, this self-awareness! I'm so happy to hear that."
Yeah.
Hear Danielson go, "No, I need to not."
Yeah, but then if Blue Panther calls him up next week and says, "Hey, do you want to do a 60-minute Iron Man match?" He's going to be like, "Fuck yeah," and he'll be in the car.
I think he might go.
No, it'll be Blue Panther will be like, "Hello," and then you'll just see a smoke outline of Bryan Danielson.
Honestly, I think Danielson's accepted the fact that his time is over and it needed to be.
Yeah.
And I'm glad, because when your time needs to be over, it's really hard to what was it? I was talking with someone the other day, and they said, what is the thing about that you love so much doing it? And I said, listen, that's what drugs feel like. When you're out there and you do something and you hop up and the whole building is cheering for you, and they're excited for something you just did, dude, that is a high unlike almost anything else. That is a high unlike anything else on the planet. And yeah, you it's just like, oh, yeah, you want to give that to me for me to shoot in my veins? Like, yeah. That's really hard to put down. And oh gosh, heck. So it's for him to be able to say, "No, I'm really done." I'm really really happy for him.
So okay, what do you get? Which show do you gentlemen want to discuss first? Do you want to discuss Full Gear, or do you want to discuss Survivor Series first?
I don't have a preference.
I don't have a preference either. It could be either one. Let's do Survivor Series first because I feel like we have more in-depth discourse for Full Gear. So
I
let's
have more
warm up with
vitriol
that.
for Full Gear, so I don't want to burn myself out in the first part. So again, WWE War Games, which just
Okay, they're not.
no.
Look, yeah,
They-
we have said this. Go ahead, Matt.
They're not war games.
No.
They're not.
I know that they own the brand. They own like the trademark, so they can call it that. It's not war games.
It's not.
And I will just say, we talked about this even like the last like couple weeks on the show, that I like what AEW and Tony Khan does with Blood and Guts, where you can kind of see things building up to a Blood and Guts, which is more of an actual war games than
Yeah.
the branded war games. But he doesn't shoehorn it where it's like, oh look, oh my god, look at the time, look at the calendar on the wall, it's November, gotta have war games. And back in the day, WCW, I love WCW, like they would shoehorn, it's September, gotta have
94
war games for Fall Brawl.
Yeah, once it became the thing in 94, like I think briefly, very very briefly, I think it rebounded a little bit as a concept with the NWO for like the first 2 years. But
Because I mean, then it made sense. Because War Games is
Yes.
about two factions who hate each other so much that they want to kill each other. Now, Matt, I will quibble with you just a touch that I feel like that honestly, the women's War Games that the women's Blood and Guts the women did a great job with it, but it did not feel like it had proper build.
No,
it
and
felt like it was kind of shoehorned in.
I didn't
That
like
was a
them having
complaint.
two on the same show. That was also an issue I had.
That was a complaint that people gave to that. I felt that half of it was built, meaning that some of the people in it clearly had beef with some of the other people in it. So it's like I can believably believe that like 6 of you, you know, 3 and 3, like you guys like definitely want to war games, but then you have to start adding like 2-3 more per team to make up that, and it's like and I know that with war games type matches, like that's not uncommon. It's like it's not perfectly like we have a faction of 5 people that, you know, everyone hates us, so they want to fight, and they're feuding with maybe like, you know, 3 guys, so then they have to add 2 more.
But usually though, with War Games in WCW, like you had the 4 Horsemen, so it was like, okay, you have the 4 Horsemen, so we're gonna take who each member of the Horsemen are feuding with individually and put them together. Like the one we did for 92 with the Dangerous Alliance, the people that faced off against them was Sting, Dustin, Barry, Nikita, and Ricky Steamboat, who had been feuding with them all year.
Yeah, and I still think that that's the best War Games, and that
best WCW match ever.
Yeah, it's legit 5-star match. I know ratings have kind of got flanderized in the modern era, but it legit is like, I won't say perfect match because it's like this perfect match even exists, but it's perfect. It's a 5-star match. It's incredibly well done, perfectly booked.
Booked perfectly to even how the ending and who lost and who cost them the win. Even the
Yeah, it's
interference and
such a great
how
match.
Medusa got them the phone is perfect.
Yeah, it's just it hit all the notes, but uh, that made sense. It made perfect sense. So a lot of I'm throwing out the caveat that I don't like when War Games is shoot in. I like how they do it with Blood and Guts, like I've said, where it's like maybe this time it was in what, November, like October, November. Uh, maybe next year it'll be like, if it happens again next year, it's like maybe it'll be July. It's not a set. Like, gotta rush this in. It's like you build towards it. It happens. And that way, it's a little more organic. So basically, forcing it's like, oh, it's November, Survivor Series, gotta have War Games.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that certain types of matches, and really, to me, it only works with like the Royal Rumble. It's January.
Well,
to
Survivor
have the Royal
Series,
Rumble. It's like
Survivor Series, which works better for that too, because like it used to be like a one-off kind of gimmicky thing, and it was just like, hey,
Yeah.
see all these guys team up and take each other on, like that's fine for like an annual thing too. Except when they turned it into brand supremacy, and then it got dumb
Yeah.
again. But like Survivor Series, the
liked it.
concept is fine. It's like, hey, this pay-per-view we're doing
team versus team,
yeah,
single
10 and
elimination.
12-man tag eliminations. Like
Yeah,
that's a perfectly fine thing.
And I liked it. I liked it when they did that format, and then they moved away from it to the point where if you had, they usually would still have an elimination tag, but it would be like 4 versus 4 or 5 versus 5.
And it would be SmackDown versus Raw for
Yes,
stupid things.
and to the extent it wasn't, they would try to even do like, let's put our like main eventers against the main event guys, like main guys at least. Just like, well, whatever, that's fine.
Well,
I actually like the single elimination tag gimmick as like, that's a favorite gimmick match of mine. I like where it's like a elimination like that, because I felt back in the day they actually booked it really well. Like in the late 80s, early 90s, they booked it really pretty well. Like, and they were entertaining matches.
They booked it pretty well when they did like the Authority versus Team Cena, even down to how they got it down to it was just Ziggler versus everyone, and he just kind of survives, and then Sting debuts and gets him over the hump. And then, for as awesome as that booking was in the moment, they then spent the next month just shitting all over it, to even having Cena bringing them back as a group when they were supposed to disband, and then that awful promo Ziggler did that just made him such a fucking little bitch boy that like
I guarantee they handed it to him and said, you go out there and do this, you're fired.
Yeah.
It like that was the last good Survivor Series, and honestly it had the potential to do something huge, and they had to go and screw it up.
Because I think if I would have booked that, I would have him come out the next night. Like I would have maybe even had like Triple H come out and like Ziggler send him packing and be like, get the fuck out of here, you don't have a job anymore, and then be like, yeah, I beat all these people, I want the world title.
Yeah. Who else has gone through all of those people, not just in one night, but in one match? Just me.
Yeah.
I earned my do that. Because then he's got swagger and he's confident for having it, but no, we can't have
You
it.
could even insta turn him. You could even insta turn him heel and just like have him be like a total dick about it.
I wouldn't do that. I would ride that.
It's been a decade, Matt.
That was, and well, I bring that up because that might arguably be the last time that Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler cared. Like, not that he just dogs it every night, but I feel like that's the last time he was like really, like, you could tell he cared. And when they like neutered him immediately after that, he could see like just the light died.
Yeah.
And he still likes being a wrestler, but it's not like it was before.
It's when it's when he knew. I think that's when he knew, like in the back of his mind, like no matter what I do, they're always going to keep me. They're going to keep me just outside of like what matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't blame him. Like that would have just been completely shattering. But anyway, for this one, it was like, look, I've got a point. I'm getting there. Nothing today is strictly War Games. because War Games was not just the 2 rings with the roof. It was also the rings were up on the apron to make everything confined, close together. Couldn't get away from each other, nowhere to go. It kept things like tight.
You were in there, you were stuck.
Yeah. You were in there, you were stuck. It was tight, it was violent, it was kind of intimate, in how close everybody had to be. And so the match could not end until
when you were outnumbered,
everyone was destroyed.
When you were outnumbered for those moments,
that's a good point.
You had 2 minutes, like you just knew they were taking a pounding for 2 minutes.
So Blood and Guts has more of the DNA of War Games in it. But it does not feel the same, because what's one of the things that happens is there is always stuff happening outside the cage. Now, is that a big deal for Blood and Guts? Not really, because
it's not War Games.
At least for me, it's not War Games. It's got the DNA, but it's supposed to be about these people hate each other so much that of course stuff's going to spill all over the place. Okay, fine.
And I also think you couldn't ever get War Games back no matter how hard you tried, because I'm going to throw a tad bit of shade at AEW here for how violent it is, but you've stripped a lot of the mystique away from wrestling with like exposing it and having so much ultra violence in wrestling that like the mystique of War Games was the violence, like you said, like the intimate setting of it. And I don't necessarily think you can recreate that now, because wrestling has like stripped so much of that mystique away, because it's just like you have literal idiots in GCW like rolling through glass and like sticking like nails in their heads and stuff. It's like it kind of just cheapens like the
bring it back.
Yeah, like it's just like this is gonna this is gonna be like next level violence. Like even I think in AEW they get close, but like I said, they kind of go over the top with the violence sometimes. So even Blood and Guts can be a little like, oh well, this is just. Especially like this year, it was they were fine matches this year. I thought they were entertaining, but it's just like John Moxley's done stuff like almost on a weekly basis that's hyper violent. Like it kind of just.
Well, the point I was going to get at is the reason that I can't. The reason I just can't on WWE. The men's War Games match gave me a great example, because these matches are supposed to be these violent, bloody affairs where it's just like, we're settling this because you can't get away. Yeah, I'm going to kill you. And the fact that you can stop in the middle of these matches and have goofy spots.
Oh,
and
man.
That's the first one that comes to mind. Yeah. But the fact that in the middle of these, you can have these goofy spots, and you can have a run-in, like, it cheapens the gimmick, it makes it less important, and frankly, for War Games, I mean, it's in the name, it's War Games. It's supposed to be that rough, violent kind of thing.
You can do
the WWE setting... has not gone as extreme as the AEW setting has, so they would have a better chance at recapturing the old spirit of it, but they won't.
If they did, because they could blade
they're
to get
scared
so
to
far.
Or something.
Yeah.
And
you could do.
I don't know if they're scared of it or they just flat out can't do it.
And you could do comedy during those matches too, because we've seen it successfully pulled off when Smoky Mountain did that big giant brawl, and like Bobby Eaton's like has a bucket on his head, and he goes like, and he gets like a tire smashed over his head, and then his like pants fall down, and it's funny, but it's within the context of a match of he's just kind of stumbling around getting beaten up, but it's funny the way he's doing it. Like you can get away with that, but I would call that unintentional comedy. And I think that can work, especially like to add a little levity if like the situation's like violent and stuff, but the WWE doesn't work that way. But I think even with WWE, like just fucking blade, guys. Like you would get so much more out of it. And like, Jey Uso doing his entrance again, like oh, like my teammates are getting beat up, well, I'm gonna go yeet some more. It's just like, oh my god.
No, they weren't getting beat up. It was just like, there's nothing happening right now, so I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, Okay, let's start with the beginning of that sentence is the problem. There's nothing happening right now. How is there nothing happening in a War Games match?
Yes, exactly. Like, and I love that. Well, you might have to be too online to get this, but he gave an interview, which I think I even referenced on the show, and I felt he was giving it kind of more kayfabe versus like this is the real guy, Jey Uso. But he basically in the interview was like, I'm more than just an entrance. Like when that bell rings, like I'm gonna get serious, and it's like again, I think it was kayfabe, but it's like you literally said I'm more than just an entrance, and here you are in the match. You just stopped, and it's like I'm gonna do my entrance again, and everyone's like yeeting it, like oh the crowd loved it. It's like, and I've seen people defend it. It's like well whatever, like the crowd had a great time with it. It's like, but it's shit, and it's comical, and it's again the criticism that people like me give you is that it's let me see what I have
If you're not,
here. It's this. It's
yeah.
You
you guys entertained?
But
Here's
the
some
other thing
jangling
is,
keys.
the other
Cruncher
thing though
2,
is
right? You like this?
this
How
is
much
You like
money
the jangling
did
keys? You
Okay,
want to play with
do you
my
remember
keys?
do you remember the genre movies that happened in the 2000s and into the aughts
the
and how they got
genre.
progressively worse like Scary Movie, Scary Movie
Yeah,
2, and then they made Epic Movie, and it is, oh my god, it is like it is brain trauma in movie form. How much money did that make? Just because people react to it doesn't make it good.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't look, I know I have said before that you go enjoy what you enjoy. Okay, that's fine. However, I'm not going to waver on me saying why I don't like something, why I don't want to see it. And I'm giving you reasons why. Don't give me that because to me, it misses the point.
Well,
On
and if they're this is also my complaint with the Marvel movies. If the wrestlers themselves are not taking it seriously, then why am I, the viewer, going to take it seriously? It's like when the Marvel movies now that they suck, like something kind of emotional happened, the movie has to be like, no, no, guys, don't worry, don't worry. We're not taking it seriously, so don't like actually have feelings because we'll get back to the quippy quip in like 5 seconds.
What were you going to say, Matt?
to your point, where it's like I can't enjoy it. Lyric, and she's a great follow on Twitter, on social media. Lyric, who does wrestling interviews, like
Yeah.
she's very established. She's for those who don't know her, like search for her. She's great. She had a tweet that she retweeted after like Survivor Series, which I'm sure was basically kind of in reference to Survivor Series, and it's a tweet that she had done like some time past. But she's like, for everyone who says like, oh, just enjoy all wrestling, and the people who say that are always like, they're defending WWE because it's the quality of WWE. They know the people who are honest. They know like the quality is not as good as pretty much anyone else, just about anyone else. Like they're better than I would say TNA, but TNA is, they've been scraping the barrel for a while, like Brad has actually been saying. But Lyric said like I can't enjoy all wrestling because not all wrestling is enjoyable. And wrestling is unfortunately it's too expensive and too time consuming a hobby to actually devote yourself to watching things that you don't enjoy. And that's really the truth of it. Like certainly like if you want to go see like a live show at the WWE, like it's too expensive for me to actually waste my money on something that I'm not going to enjoy. Even like now to see a premium live event, a pay-per-view, I got to pay like $30 with ESPN. It's like you've literally spent a decade plus telling like you're a chump if you pay more than $9.99, for pay-per-views on the WWE network or Peacock, whatever. So it's like
Stephanie
now you want me
McMahon
to pay
says get it.
$30 and you're gonna give me 4 matches on a. You want me to pay $30 a month and you're gonna give me 4 lame-ass matches? Fuck you.
with
Pardon
too
my
many
language.
with too many commercials, and then Stephanie McMahon saying get a VPN.
I think
Again, if
James, who
I'm
does
paying you $30 for a show, and you bust out in the 4-match show, people complain like, "Oh, AEW has too many shows; they're too long," and it's like that because that was actually the discourse with Full Gear, You have Brian Alvarez complaining, "Oh,
I mean,
my
their
YouTube
shows are
TV." Like what? It's like shut up.
their shows can be
But
too
you're
long.
complaining about it
I-
can be, but at the same time, it's like Tony Khan would be like, "I'm gonna cram 14 matches on this like 5-hour show." And you can be like, "Ah, this is too long." I think it's fine, if you're gonna do it at like start the show at like 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah, now that
Like,
is
he's done.
better. But when they do it like it starts at 7 and it's going until midnight, like that's when I have a problem with it, because by the time you're
Valid
getting to like
criticism.
the main event, you're just like, I gotta go to work, and I've been
Valid
sitting here all
criticism.
night.
But if I'm paying $50 for a pay-per-view and you're giving me 5 hours and 14 matches, and the
Yeah.
quality of the matches are going to be like sky high, like the worst match is probably going to be like 2-3 stars,
Yeah.
and that's 1 out of like 14, of which like at least half of them will probably be like 4 and up. Like, and conversely, you're going to give me $30. Oh wow, $20 difference. But you're going to give me a 4-match show, including halfway through, an idiot just stops and he's like, "I'm going to run my entrance back." Yeet. Like,
The guy that does
enough with you.
the
I'm
guy
not
that
paying for
does-
this.
the guy that does the podcast with Dutch, his name's James. I finally got it right. He made a joke talking about the show as he thinks they're going to get to a point where the WWE pay-per-views you get a single match that lasts for an hour with an hour and a half of entrances. And I'm like, dear God, like don't give them ideas.
I said it recently, like they've never been closer to Vince Russo's stated desire back in the late 90s to not have any wrestling at all on the show. Like he said, he's on record saying like, "I didn't want any wrestling. If I could have got away with having no wrestling on the shows, I would have." And you could see that was true, because back in the day,
Yeah.
if you look at the match times for
2 minutes.
WWE, and then when he went to WCW, people like were posting, because they were using it to troll Eric Bischoff, because like some of those like 2000 era nitros that Vince Russo was booking, because they're trolling, because already like Dynamite has outlasted like Nitro,
Yeah.
but they were trolling Eric Bischoff. But you would see people would post like the match results, and the longest match in the show would be like 4 minutes. And I remember like watching back in the day, and it's like I didn't remember that, but God,
No,
how dire were things?
There were 30-second matches on Nitro sometimes.
I remember they were shorter, but like going back, like when Heat came out and people were like cataloging it, I was like, dear God, like these are worse than I remember. I also think so the other issue I kind of have is just their creative vision just doesn't work for me, because I had a bit of a side quest today where I watched like a bunch of Bronson Reed like entrances from this year on like Raw and everything, and dear God, that guy's not over. Like even when they went to Australia, he got no reaction.
Yeah.
Because they seem to be they're building to Braun Breaker versus Punk at Mania, and I'm just thinking like I don't have a problem with doing that with Braun, but man, you got to get these geeks away from Braun. You've got to get him out of the vision. And the guy under the mask is supposedly Austin Theory, which is like, okay, so you're going to give them another geek no one gives a shit about. Like, are you going to sneak Grayson Waller in there and just like finish the trifecta of like crap no one cares about? But I was just like, no, I don't have a problem with that. Like, I think it might be a bit early for Braun, but like, I think he could be fine. But it's just like, you've got to get him out of the vision, because like you're just setting him up for failure if he's like if you watch like their entrances like a tag team, they do them separately because Bronson is so unover. They're afraid it's going to affect Braun Breaker's pops.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is that he, I guess on Raw yesterday, Braun Breaker gave a promo, and some of the consensus I saw from people online was, why is this guy not the main guy in the vision? Like, why are they putting the title on Seth? Which it's like, that's not. I'm sure people in the WWE now, like, if their direction, which I think it is, like, to make Braun Breaker like the next big guy, which makes sense to me. Like, I think he's actually regressed some.
He's gotten better on the main roster now that he has like good people to work with. It's helped him but I think the holes in his game now are because he was trained in NXT, and that training sucks. So he has kind of like some of the Charlotte issues, but he did regress for a bit. But then once he got up in the main roster and he's working with like Sammy and stuff, that got him Like he started getting it good again because he was actually getting like people, like I said,
Yeah.
Sami Zayn that's going to be like, okay, we're going to do this and this, and who was working with him and probably like helping him out more than
Yeah.
like NXT.
But I'm sure like they're fine with a comment like that because the long-term goal is Braun Breaker, but it's also it can't be that good when it's like your main guy Seth, who the rumor was like because now he's injured and had surgery, so it's not likely to happen. But their plan was like Roman versus Seth as the main event of WrestleMania. If it's not him, it's going to be Cody versus Roman again. It's like
no, it's going to be
really?
Cody
But
versus Roman. They did like a tease at the end of the show with them.
Well, they were saying it
But-
was scheduled to be Roman Seth before Seth got hurt,
Yeah.
yeah,
and it's just like,
but
they've done that
But it's
so
like
many
you're gonna-
times, and like where that program doesn't work is no one believes Seth is going to beat Roman in any capacity that matters. So why do it? Because they've done this program. What, like, how many times do you think they've run that, like, on a pay-per-view over the years? Like, would you say a dozen times?
yeah,
again, no one should have ever thought that Triple H was a good booker because he's never been. The only things that have actually worked, like he hasn't actually booked. It's other people booking them. He just takes credit for them. And here we are going back to like Shield lore, like a decade plus later. And some people are also stupid. Like I saw like online, the Masked Man is supposed to be Austin Theory. I think people behind the scenes like Sean Ross Sapp, whatever, like saying it was
Yeah,
Austin Theory.
because
Whether he gets revealed as the
supposedly Heyman likes him. So take that for what it's worth.
that to me is astounding because like Austin Theory was like a Vince pet project, but they still are trying to make him happen. And it's like
Triple H didn't. One of the rare Triple H dubs was depushing Austin Theory because he sucks. That was like one of the rare things that I think Triple H was right about.
yeah, but they're still trying to make that happen. But and I think that it probably will be him. Somebody at a podcast was like, "Oh, the great thing is like when you have a masked man, you can be anyone. You know, it doesn't have to be like the guy you think it is." And it's like it's going to be Austin Theory because they've been rumored they want to put him in the Vision stable for a while. But
I think that's a dumb statement to say that's the good part about a masked man is it can be anyone you want to be. It's like, no, it has to make sense. And you can't have Rey Mysterio be your masked man and be like, surprise, it's Viscera. Like, no, that doesn't work. Like, you are constrained in certain ways by a masked man.
But I saw people online after the Masked Man. They're like, "Oh, it's Moxley. It's John Moxley," and it's like, are you people stupid? Like, yeah, John Moxley, who just literally wrestled, at a pay-per-view,
And he's under
like 2
contract
weeks
for
before
years.
AEW. Like, yeah, he's done with AEW. He's now we're back with WWE, and
Like,
you
you
haven't
could-
heard about it. Big surprise. Like
if they had said Jericho, like even people were like, well, it could be Jericho, but like, well, he's not out of his contract yet, and I don't think he's going to be a heel. Like, it's funny that the one that you could conceivably say is a jump, people automatically realize, like, oh, that doesn't make sense for what they're going to do with him.
yeah. It's I encountered someone in the past year who would have said, "Oh man, I bet that's," because he still would have called him Ambrose. "I bet that's Ambrose." And I'm like, "Dude, no," because I was helping him with something, and we got to talking, and it worked around to that, and he said that. I was like, "Dude, no." He goes, "Why not?" I said, "Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you get into it outside of just watching the TV?" He's like, "No, not really." I said, "Okay, that's fine." He did an interview when he left that said, "I'm not going back there ever again. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be there. I don't want to work their style. I want to go out and do my own thing." And so he's not going to show up back there. It's not going to happen. And he kind of looked at me and goes, you don't think he'd want to be there?" I said, "Dude, he's happy where he's at. Because not only does he get to still be on national TV, but he can go work in Japan or Mexico or whatever as well. And he couldn't do that there. Dude's happy where he's at." And he had this moment of coming to grips with there is more to wrestling than WWE, that it's not that he was a bad dude. It's just he never thought about it. He just watched that. It was on TV. That's what he watched, and he didn't put more thought into it because he's not a giant nerd like we are.
Well, I think that's true across a lot of forms, though. Like, you can see it in Hollywood where there's some guys that could be like bigger Hollywood like directors or stars, but they care more about the artistic vision or the art form that they're involved with. So they
Yeah.
stick with like indie movies or lower budget things because they value their vision more than they do like necessarily money or even like prestige or like things like that.
They're established enough that they can just work on what they want to work on.
Like Adam
And
Sandler,
you know what?
like you think Adam Sandler couldn't like be in like bigger budget movies and get like bigger paydays instead of making movies he wants to make and hanging out with his friends on sets?
Yeah, and he makes enough off of them.
Yeah.
I think, well, he may be a bad example because I think he signed some like multi-million dollar deal with Netflix. So I don't know if you've noticed, like, there's been a ton of like Adam Sandler movies that have debuted on Netflix because he signed some sort of like big deal with them. So, but there are people, you're right, like there are people who like they appreciate the artistic vision. So that's what they care about. And people that's especially in wrestling, like that's so lost on people. It's like, yeah, there's some first off, John Moxley, like he literally wrote a book, and in the book he talks about how he doesn't want to go back, and he doesn't like Triple H. Like,
Yeah,
I think he specifically has said like very negative things about Triple H, which I know people like brush it off. It's like, oh, whatever. Like, people hate each other in wrestling, but if there's money to be made, it's like, yeah, that's true. But at the same time, like it's Moxley's a bad example for people who think like he just cares about money. He clearly cares about the art form of professional wrestling far more than other people. And
But there's a
compared
little
Mox.
I think also he didn't want to go back, but I also think he's extra mad at them about how they treated Renee when she got COVID. Like no one checked on her from the company. I think was a big bone
Oh.
of contention with him at the time. Probably still is.
So, I'm remembering that now. Here's the thing with Mox. Mox is frankly not a complicated guy. He's got everything he wants. He is happy. He is content. He doesn't want stuff. He is happy with his wife. He's happy with his kid, and he wants to do wrestling. That's it. And he doesn't. He carries a phone, but he doesn't hardly use it for much. That's what he wrote his book on. Is he wrote his book in his phone after Renee showed him an app to do it in. Right? He's not a complicated guy. He wants to go wrestle, and he doesn't like people disrespecting him or his family. He's not going back there, because if he did, would he be in one of those 4 matches on the PLEs? Probably not. Would he be regularly working matches on TV? Probably not. One year he worked more matches than he worked like 300 matches just to prove he could. There is nothing there for him.
Well, I take it. I'm gonna disagree with you slightly, Chad. He would, but it would just be like a year or two of matches just with Seth and Roman, because they would just beat into the ground like the Shield shit. So
Yeah.
but Mox is a good example of people who care about the artistic vision. There are people in wrestling who actually do care about the artistic vision. And we're very fortunate that people like Tony Khan actually will pay certain people well who care about, the actual art form of professional wrestling, versus just like, I'm going to go accept my retirement check to go work for the WWE. People like Penta, who doesn't have to go out there and work too hard. That's actually the goal. Like, Penta can go out there and make a shit ton of money on merch, and it already has.
Well, he just got
And,
hurt.
Well, that's not a big deal for him. He can collect those merchandise checks.
But I think,
selling his mask.
I do say it all the time though. Like I do think Penta was smart about that, because, like you said, he can dog it, go easy on his body. Like he's building a nice little retirement nest egg. He's probably like, even if I sell like, even if like I job every match and I sell a bunch of masks, I'm gonna make a shitload of money. Like I think, like I said, I've always said some people are better to go to WWE, and I think Ray Phoenix really made a mistake. I know he wanted to work with his brother, but I think this was always going to happen largely because he doesn't have the charisma of Penta. But I think, like, honestly, there's guys I would say, like, hey, if you're thinking about retiring, go work WWE and get that easy money for like the last
Yeah.
2 or 3 years of your career.
Yeah.
It being a send off tour makes sense to me. Okay, cool. You want to do that? Get paid, but man, they've got enough. Even if half of what I hear about their business practices are accurate, I'm not even sure how guaranteed money it is.
No,
Like
because
I heard, I don't know if this is true, okay, but I heard it from folks that I don't normally take to be liars that if you're out working and you get hurt, but you've hit your downside guarantee for the year, they just don't pay you more.
yeah, Tyrus said that when he was talking. He
Okay.
had he has a show now, and I don't know how it got recommended to me, but he had Kane on, and they were
Okay.
kind of talking about this because I guess Kane used to walk up to the new guys in the locker room and be like, "Hey, you need to save your money."
Yeah.
But he
That's
said, so what he said happened was when he first came up as whatever he was, he said he made like a crap load of money right out of the gate. And he said something happened or he pissed someone off and they took him off of TV, but he had already passed his downside, so he's making no money.
yeah.
Which
So
is
that means
insane to me because I mean I kind of understand it. It's like, well, you've already hit your downside. Like we don't have to pay you more. But it's like, well, maybe you just do that like throughout the year. Like even if that means like, hey, it's December. You know, we've paid you like 75% of your downside, but we haven't been booking you like the last 6 months. But we still owe you like X amount, so you're gonna get a big lump, a big fat check in December of the remainder of your downside that we owe you.
See what I
Like
would
I would
do.
rather that.
I
I'd
would
rather
rather
like still
have
get
I'd rather have is okay, your downside, this is your guarantee that you're getting on every check throughout the year. So
yes,
let's say
that's what I'm talking
yeah.
about. Yeah.
And then whatever you make above that is on it. So if like you get hurt or something, yeah, your money's gonna go way down. But you have like let's say, oh yeah, $1,200 a week is like your downside guarantee. You get that every week
Yes.
regardless than whatever you make on top of that. Instead of
I
oh well, you made your $60,000 in 6 weeks. Well, fuck you, you got hurt for the rest of the year. So hope you saved it all.
well, yes, but I think it's fair. I think it would be fair. Let's say like your downside's like 200,000 for the year, right? Or let's do 240. Okay, so let's and that can now you could divide it by like 12. So 240 uh you're at least going to get like a certain amount. You can get a certain amount if you break it down by 12, you can get a certain amount. And maybe they do it stupid where it's like you're going to get guaranteed half of that per 12 months.
I wonder
So
if
you have
you
like
have
the
a
same
choice.
amount going through 12 months and it's like maybe we pay you more than the downside, but you're at least your downside. Maybe you make the the other 50% of your downside, maybe you make that in the first like 3 months. So of the 240 we owe you as your downside, maybe 120,000 of that you get up front because you've earned it in the 3 months. If you have some sort of deal where you're earning over 240, like great. But if we like then after 3 months ice you, you're at least still getting like a certain
Yeah.
percentage, the other 50% broken into 12. So you're getting that. So, and to me, like that would be more fair and more sensible because it's like, what if I got a mortgage and bills to pay? Because we talked about Riddick Moss. It's like, we can criticize him and be like, why'd you take the mortgage when, you didn't have necessarily job security? It's like, I get it, but it's also like, maybe they're doing weird things like that where it's like, well, yeah, we're supposed to pay you like 150,000, but we already paid you all that in January. So tough luck.
I wonder
It's
if you
like,
can
no,
negotiate. I wonder if you were like a shrewd negotiator, if you could get something like that. Maybe that's something like, hey, you're a little more financially literate and be like, hey, can you work this so I get my downside throughout the year? Like I'll take less
Yeah.
per pay if you guarantee me like a steady. Because
I literally, yeah,
because
I would absolutely do that. I would do that because literally just now I thought like, well, that I would work out that
Yeah.
I want that,
'Cause
because I don't want to be
teachers-
like, I've earned it all by March,
Because
and then
teachers
I'm
in some
stuck.
teachers in some areas can do that. They can say, okay, well, I want to just get paid the months I work, or they can say, hey, I'll take less if you pay me through the summer and pay me
Yeah, you can
12 months.
structure it
Yeah.
that it's a normal recurring thing. And Matt, from your thing, if you're making $240,000 a year, I broke it down by pay period. So 26 pay periods in a year, $9,200 per pay period. Now, given the cost of travel, housing, your gear, if you're going to try and have your own health insurance and an accountant to handle your stuff, cut that in half. Okay. So I don't know, 4,600 a paycheck. I know it ain't glamorous, but you could do okay with that. The problem is you're on TV, everyone thinks, "Oh, you better there's an image you have to that sort." It's like not yet you don't.
They also have a system that Tyrus. It was actually interesting because they were talking about some of the financials behind the scenes, but I don't think I realized this, or it had been so long since I heard that I forgot. They have like, so when you work there, because Tyrus got in a bit of trouble with it because he didn't realize what it was at first, but so like when you're working there, there's like a guy you can go to, like let's say you need like and take up like borrow like up to 500 against your paycheck.
Oh, you can take a draw.
Yeah, that's what they call it, the draw. So like it can be like, hey, something happened, like my water heater blew up. I need $250 for like my plane tickets or whatever. So they have that system backstage too.
It's just the fact that is their go-to setup. The fact that they don't do things like the fact that they're all 1099 employees, even though they're not, and they're having to cover their own travel and travel expenses and that sort, like that bugs me. WCW paid for that because there's stories of people taking their WCW plane tickets, refunding them, and then buying a plane ticket from somewhere else for, I don't know, $300 less and pocketing the difference.
Isn't that what Heyman got fired for?
I don't know.
He got fired for some scam like that.
Look, I
think he was taken. I think he was taken. I think they were getting him tickets, and he'd refund the tickets, and he'd like drive. He was doing something like that.
For some reason in my head, I could be wrong. I'm going to say that right up front, but I think that it was something involving the other guys, that he would do that for them, but then
that makes sense.
The money.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's shady. Like
that's something Heyman would. That's like that's Heyman to a T.
People love Heyman. Heyman's a legit scumbag.
No, there's stuff there's stuff you learn about him in ECW. Like he scammed like Tammy and Chris Candido like out of a bunch of money. Like he would scam people into putting shit on their credit cards and stuff, and then leave them high and dry. I know he did that to Tammy and Chris.
Look, in my job, I've not had to travel in many years, but there was a point where one of the positions I was in, I traveled, and traveling, like they would give you like a stipend. Like here's your per diem for traveling. Like we give you this amount to cover. We're making you travel for work, so you are allotted X amount per day for like food, whatever.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people, myself included. It's like, oh, you give me like whatever, $100, a day for food or whatever. It'd be like, I personally, like, I don't really eat breakfast. Maybe I have like a snack or something like midday.
Hotels have free breakfast anyway.
Like 10 a.m. Maybe I'll eat like, some nuts or something simple. I'll eat lunch and dinner. It's like, maybe I'm traveling, like maybe I'll go to Subway and get like a $10 sandwich for lunch.
Yeah.
Maybe my dinner is going to be like, something not extravagant. Like maybe I'll spend $20 on dinner. At $30, it's like $70 left. Pocket that's $70, and it's like, that's totally cool because it's like I'm owed. They gave me the money, Like that's like it's not really a scam to me. Like I mean, I guess it's kind of a scam if it's like here's your ticket to travel,
Yeah.
and I like take it, I refund it. It's like $300, let's say, and it's like, well, I could rent a car and drive there.
Well,
renting and
you would get
renting and gas is going to cost me $100. I can just pocket the 200. It's like, yeah, it's a scam, but
you
it's
get like where I work. Well, you get a corporate card, but like you have to if you're traveling on the company dime, you have to hand over your traveler points to them.
oh yeah,
Yeah, so it kind of goes under that, but I don't get the fun per diem thing. They give you a corporate card that you have to fill out a
Well,
shitload of paperwork and keep all your receipts.
if I so I've done that. I've done that too, like that way too, because I've been given per diem and I've also been given like the company credit card. So anything that I've charged on the credit card, like I've given receipts, where it's
Yeah.
like, and it's been within like the limits. I obviously I didn't like it. Like whenever like I eventually like I didn't have to travel, and I think the credit card expired, and I was like thankful because it's like I don't want this.
I
in
was
my name
also I was also
anymore.
in a,
like
I was also in like a management position when I got mine, so it was like, hey, we're getting lunch for the team today. Go order it, or do this or that. Like there were some other things other than travel I had to use it for.
yeah.
I have I've gotten the per diem before. I was sent to a conference, and guess what? They did not have at this restaurant. They did not have free breakfast. So
What kind of hotel doesn't have free breakfast?
Marriott.
There's
Well, I'm not-
hotels that don't have free breakfast.
They have a restaurant in the lobby that you can go and buy a $15 breakfast at. Instead, on the way there, I hopped off the bus and went into Aldi and got stuff and then went on to the hotel. That's not what I did.
I want my
I took a bus over to
continental.
Aldi and came back.
I want my continental breakfast with my like frosted flakes and like apple and waffle iron.
I want to make
I will
my
say-
own waffle.
Yes.
Look, I will say this. Like again, I just get the spiel of like I don't eat breakfast really, but I have two small kids, so whenever like we travel and we stay at a hotel, whatever that has free breakfast, like I absolutely will eat breakfast, and I'll go in that I'll bring my kids to that breakfast and be like, you guys are going to eat as many waffles as you can possibly can, whatever it is. Like you want Frosted Flakes, you want Fruit Loops, there you go. Like have at it. So I don't have to pay money for lunch. Like you just like take that waffle, put it in your pocket to eat later. Like I'm gonna take the value of this free breakfast and I'm gonna stretch it as far as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's time for the main event here. So we also had Full Gear, which I'm gonna preface everything I say by like I'm about to complain about a lot of stuff. I just want to say I don't have a problem with these booking decisions in a vacuum or the people they put the belts on. And I actually thought the show was pretty good. But I do have a problem with the direction AEW is taking coming out of Full Gear. Like I have a big problem with it.
So I watched that show with another group of friends. We watched together. We had a good time. When it got time up towards the main event, I was like, I'm dead. I'm beat. I've got to go to bed. So I went and crashed out. I didn't see the main event, heard about it, saw stuff later, all that sort of good thing. I had a good time watching the show. Now, in retrospect, is there some stuff on it that it's like, Well, the things I would complain about, I was actually grumpy about going in, so I guess that doesn't really count.
Well,
But I had a good time watching it.
I don't think the show is bad. I thought it was a pretty good show, but I do not like the booking direction they took coming out of that show because I feel like this whole year was them getting younger, like pushing the youth, like being more dependent upon the youth, and now they're old again. Because like the thing is, I like Joe. I like Joe a lot. I don't have a problem with Joe winning the belt in like a vacuum. But I do have a problem with all this build up to Paige, and he pretty much loses it on his first like real feud. It just feels like a letdown. I don't, Joe feels kind of like I wouldn't say a retread, and like I said, I don't have a problem with it in a vacuum, but I just feel like they cut Paige off and like they did not make good use of his title reign in hindsight.
So, okay.
Like
Grumping about the main event.
right when he was starting to like catch a stride, and I thought his reign was getting really interesting. They ended it, which I think is my bummer with
Well,
it.
okay. So, main event stuff. Item 1. I thought that Hangman's second reign was shorter than his first reign.
Yeah.
Now, they treated him better in his second reign than they did in his first reign. I've heard some people say Hangman wasn't the primary focus. Like, Hangman was, at least from where I was sitting, Hangman always looked like a big deal on the show. It was, even if he's coming out, Hangman showing up was always treated as a big deal, and it got reactions. Now, supposedly, from what I've heard, Hangman caused TV ratings to go up too. And to which I would say, it'd be like, sounds like a good reason not to take the title off of him. If you're going to have someone beat Hangman, if you're going to have someone take the belt off of him, item 1, I would not have it be MJF, because we just had this whole storyline about how MJF can't beat Hangman anymore. And to have that return and do that, yeah, I don't, that puts a bad taste in my mouth. I don't want to see Hangman swerve for the belt again, because they're both faces now. I don't want to see this again. We're not doing that. I don't want to have Ospreay do it, because Hangman, Ospreay, and Swerve as like the 3 ace faces of the company, like that's great. And who's going to be the heel in Ospreay Hangman? You're going to have a hard time with that. Who else are you going to have do it? Out of everyone to do it, it seems to me that Joe is the best choice. I just wish they hadn't done it early, and I also wish that they had not done it with a cage match to have interference, to have all of this stuff happen, and have Hangman, just be dead for so long after the fact. It's like,
And
look,
they overdid cages this year, in my opinion. They way overdid
it
cages this year.
yeah.
Because
I
they did
understand
this,
they felt like they needed to go to a gimmick after the first match.
But-
Okay, I get
Yeah.
that.
but like this is like what? Like I'm trying to remember, like the 6th cage match they've had this year. 5 or 6.
I'm not sure.
It feels like there's been a lot of cage matches in the AEW this year.
I guess my thing is I don't know. I feel that putting it on Joe, there is a purpose, and they've kind of said after the fact, like, oh, it was planned. It wasn't just
Well,
like a
I'm
Hail
sure it was
Mary. Like,
planned.
it was planned, but like they have a purpose to it, and I'm not sure what the purpose is.
Just because they planned
The-
it doesn't mean they made a good choice either. Though. That's the thing when you say
Like,
like,
that's true.
when people
That's a
say
fair
That's
thing.
absolutely
when people
that's
say they
absolutely
planned
true.
it, it's like you can still plan stupid things. Like I'm not saying
yes.
it, but like that's to me that's not a defense. That just means like okay, well
I-
they really thought about making a mistake before they made a mistake.
I didn't see the show. I was surprised by the result when I read the results. I would have I enjoy Hangman as champion. I would have kept him as champion for a while longer. I can believe that there is a plan for Joe. Uh, the dark thoughts I have is that based on comments he kind of made earlier, I think earlier this year, where he said like I'm gonna retire and no one's ever really gonna know. Like I'm not gonna do big fanfare. It's just one day I'm not gonna be around. It makes me wonder. It's like is part of this like you're giving him one last run, the title, and then he's gonna like move his way out. I don't know if that's the case. That's like my dark thoughts because I do love Joe, and we remember like we had this debate a while back, AJ Styles versus Joe,
Mhm.
like, and I had said AJ, I put AJ over Joe. That's now flipped. Now, based on what he's done with AEW, like Joe has leapfrogged AJ Styles in my opinion in terms of like a worker and the overall breadth of his work. But beyond those dark thoughts of like, is Joe going to retire in 2026 or sooner than you think? I don't know about that, but I can believe that there's a reason for this, but I don't know what the reason is. I feel like it's probably that he will again be like a transitional champ. I don't know if it means like he's going to drop it like next month at World's End, or this month. Sorry, this month at World's End. I don't know, but I'm not sure what the direction is. I've heard some people speculate that they want to put the title back on Swerve, and they don't want Hangman versus Swerve again. So this is like their way of getting it from Hangman to Swerve without having to do Hangman Swerve. I've heard some people speculate like, well, this is how they're going to put the title on Darby. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do.
You could have Darby versus Page for the title. It would be fine. You could put it back on Page like down the road, like have an even bigger gimmick match, but I don't think that's possible. Like,
I mean, there are directions you can go with this. I don't know what's going to happen with like the IWGP title. I feel like they're kind of like setting it up where Takeshita is going to turn face and leave the Don Callis family. Maybe you pull the trigger and have him win the AEW title. I don't know. Or maybe you do what some people like the flagship podcast have said, and maybe you strap the Rocket to Bandito because you just had them lose the tag titles. Maybe you strap the Rocket to Bandito and Bandito becomes AEW champion.
I think he needs a transitory like secondary reign to give him a little.
He needs, yeah, I would say Bandito needs another something to rise up the card a bit.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that.
I would agree, but I do think that's a guy that it would not surprise me, and I would not be against it. And then they probably should
in
the next
year, I think.
year or so, maybe start moving him up into the main event. You mentioned Ospreay. I love Ospreay. I think Ospreay should win the title. And I say I love Ospreay because like Ospreay's won me over, even though I do think he still has flaws.
I think he's going to be out a while.
People who think he's the best in the world, like he's not. He still has flaws, but he's improved by leaps and bounds. But people who think he's going to come back soon, it's like no, he shouldn't. He had neck surgery. Like I think Tony Khan,
like bad neck surgery.
Yes, Tony Khan gave some sort of thing where people took it to be like, oh, he's going to be back in January, but I think it got corrected where it's like, no, in January, he's gonna get like approved to start doing some light workouts or whatever. Yeah. He's probably realistically we don't know how he's gonna be when he comes back, but he's a guy who should probably be like the summer before you see him come back.
Yeah.
Like at earliest.
Oh,
I don't know if the idea.
We're forgetting.
I don't know if the idea is like
Kyle O'Reilly's starting to get pushed up the card.
I like Kyle O'Reilly. I would not put the world title on him. He's a guy that if you really want to do like a shock, if you need to like pull the ripcord, you could have him win the title for like 2 weeks or something really short to transition him. But I would not have him long term.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that the big thing that needs to happen right now is, I don't know, Continental, International, Unified, what the hell ever, that needs to get the hell off Takeshita. Or that needs to get the hell off Okada and be available. The same way the TBS belt needs to get the hell off Mercedes. So it's available to help other people. Yeah. Because right now, it's just sitting there. It's not being used for anything. And I really... There's no benefit, there's no upside to those staying where they're at.
It really annoys me that they merged that belt and then they brought the national title in. It's just like, you had already built the international titles up. Like, why did you get rid of it? And I know their claim is it's gonna like tour around. Like, no, it's gonna end up on TV like everything else. Like, don't bullshit me. I know how this always goes. Like, why did you get rid of the belt you built up, and now we have another belt that you already have too many of, and it doesn't mean anything because it's a new belt when you had the international belt that actually meant something. You could have done whatever you wanted with the international belt, but you had to bring a new belt in because...
And let's throw in the other thing. Now that the Continental Classic started, Okada doesn't have the Continental title. He's wearing the international title again.
Yeah.
Which means that if Okada doesn't win the Continental Classic, then what? Then we've got... Why? Just... Why? Honest to God, why? It was an excuse to have a Kenny Omega Okada match to add something more to it that didn't need to happen, and that pisses me off. And
I will say this though.
Go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
Well, no, you finish your thought. I'm sorry.
No. I'm getting ready to shift into something else. You go ahead.
Oh, I will say like for the national title, Ricochet won it. I think he should have a title of some sort because they were pushing him. People are bitching like, you're pushing him. People like disingenuously being like, oh, he's not any better off because look. It's like he's clearly better off. He's on TV every
regularly.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's pushed as like a big main guy, but he won the national title. And some people pointed this out. Like, I love how he did like a promo on TV or something afterwards, and he's holding the belt exactly how they did back in the Jim Crockett promotions or back in the day, where it's like he's holding the belt like this.
Yeah.
So Tony Schiavone, and it's like he's just holding it, not strapped on, just with the strap to like holding it like that. And that's back in the day. You see like Tully Blanchard or whatever
Flair
like that,
did
holding
it.
the title like that.
Yeah.
And it's like I love when wrestlers do that. They just, I mean,
You know what
that's
the
a
other
very
one-
kayfabe
you know what
thing.
the other one-
presenting
I love
it right there
I love
with them.
But I also love it when they hold it like it's a prize.
You know what the
Like, 'cause
other one I
that's
loved is?
ideally what it should be, right?
The other one I loved
Yeah.
is when they used to have the podium on World Championship Wrestling, and they would come out and
Oh,
like
yeah.
Tony would be at the podium, and they put the belt on front of the podium while they talked. Like I always
Yeah.
loved that too.
Yeah.
So the other thing I was going to say, yes, Ricochet winning something, I think he should. Partly because, he's been doing really good work lately. And the other reason is, for God's sake, he's put up with enough Hurt Syndicate crap that he really should be rewarded for it. And I'm stealing this point. Trish, I listened to the last Trish and Sarah podcast, and they had a whole bunch of stuff that I heard them say, and I'm like, no, I'm not here for that. But the statement of, why did you go through all of this trouble to have the Hurt Syndicate win the number 1, number 2 spots in the Casino Gauntlets and spend all that TV time on them and not do anything with it? And it's like, fair point. And my cynical brain is like, it's to shut up MVP. But, and I say that, I don't know MVP, but I also have no nostalgia for him either. And then Ricochet wins it. So Ricochet got destroyed by Lashley in this qualifier for the number 1, number 2 spot. Ricochet comes out and wins this. Are we doing 50-50 stuff here? Is that what we're doing? For a belt that's not supposed to be on AEW TV?
Well, I can see I can see there's a logic to doing that where like you do that and then you end like the thing with Lashley and Ricochet and then Ricochet beats him. Like I could see setting it up for that to like kind of, because they did this like, it's a different situation, but they did this with like Hogan and Andre before WrestleMania 3. They had a Saturday night's main event and Andre eliminated Hogan from like a battle royal like a week before the show because they did it to create more hopelessness for Hogan and like make him more of an underdog. So like there's situations where it can work. Like I don't think that in and of itself is a crime. Like sometimes you do set the heels up to like have massive advantages and then like the good guy finds a way after you've like made him seem unlikely. If you do it well, it can work.
Is Ricochet the good guy in this situation?
I mean, sort of. But the thing is, though, you're saying, like, well, Ricochet finally won something. But it's like, yeah, he won something that means jack and shit.
I know.
Because it's a new belt.
I know that. And it's a new belt that's not going to be on it's not supposedly going to be on AEW TV.
It's going to end up on TV. It'll be, give it 6 months and that belt's going to be on TV. Like,
but if we take it at face value, it's not going to be.
I'm just talking about how it's always like how WWE introduces a new show and they're going to make it matter this time. And it's like, no, in 3 months, it's just going to be a B show with nothing going on.
Yeah, because they're not going to quit featuring Ricochet on TV, because then what's the good in sending him somewhere else with this national title to defend it there?
Yeah.
And then if he's on TV and he's carrying this, why would that not become part of it?
It's like the Ring of Honor belts for me. Like they always have these bouts where they're trying to get the Ring of Honor belts off of TV to like clear things up a bit. And the first couple times they did like, yeah, like, okay, they're doing the right thing. This has the belt thing like cleared up. And then they come back. And every time, so now whenever they do it, I'm just like, they're just going to be back in 3 months. Like, I'm not getting my
So,
hopes up. So then
yeah. Look, okay, to go with the old young thing there. Ricochet's a lot younger than Lashley is, and he's going to be around longer. So, did they? Sure. Were there other people they could have done this with? Sure. I get. Yeah, I mean, it's good to see Ricochet get some kind of reward. Mark Briscoe is obviously an older competitor and beating Kyle Fletcher for the TNT belt. However, I don't have a problem with that. Like that one I don't have a problem with at all because Briscoe has been consistently on TV, getting big reactions, doing good work.
he's always kind of
How
kind of
old is
like
Mark
the
Briscoe?
he's like 39 maybe. No wait, so he was 16. He was 16.
I'm looking this up.
No, he was 16 in 2002 because I remember that was an ROH storyline.
Right.
So he
So,
would be 30.
Next month in January, he's turning 41.
Okay.
Okay.
But
So-
I mean, I don't think people like, oh, look at putting the belt in the old man mark. No one. I don't think anyone is complaining like old Mark Briscoe.
No.
Yeah. Which is why I'm saying it doesn't qualify.
Well, and when
The
I
guy's
say
been over on TV, the guy's been really popular. And he's been doing the job a lot in a lot
and
of
he's
feuds.
been like how do I want to say? He's been like the fall guy for main event stuff for a while. Like he
Yeah.
is the low man on the totem pole for like main event stuff. Like he's the guy
Yeah.
that's going to come in with all the main eventers that's going to eat shit for the faces.
Yeah.
So I guess you would say he's a high end mid carder or an upper mid carder, but that's kind of his role. And I also think when you talk about old can also mean being on TV for a long time too.
I would,
And he's not
in the
he-
same vein. Go
and
ahead.
he feels fresh because I feel like he's gotten a renewed push this year and he's done some interesting stuff. Like Mark feels fairly fresh on TV because I think last year he was on ROH more.
And people love Mark Briscoe. So this gives Kyle an opportunity to, I had never thought about it, but lose up. He was going to have to lose the TNT title to go into higher things anyway. This gives him the way to do it. It's the same vein as I would love to see Orange Cassidy get recognition again, and I think he's 41. But in any event, that's not really pertinent to the show.
Briscoe I don't have an issue with because that can also be a thank you Rain.
Yeah.
Like I think he's fine. But he doesn't feel quite as old. I do have an issue with FTR winning the belts.
I do and I don't. I don't because sooner or later Brodito had to lose, and Brodito's had a great reign. They've been over like crazy. They've done great work. It's increased stock for both guys. Awesome. Someone was going to have to beat him, and the Bucks were nowhere near that storyline, headspace, anything like that. So if you're going to have someone to do it, having one of the most decorated teams in your company do it, okay, I can get behind that. My problem is that it sure smells like that FTR is getting these belts so that they can feud with Copeland and Cage when they come back. And I don't want to see it.
No, I don't.
I don't want to see it. I don't care.
No.
I just don't.
Because like you know what I hate about the Copeland and Cage thing is like it just made Christian not interesting when he was like one of the most entertaining parts of the show.
I liked that he didn't change. Like he was still like, oh no, I'm a giant prick, and that's not going to change. I appreciated that, but you're going to have Copeland and Cage be the faces against heel FTR when heel FTR has finally kind of hit their groove for what they're good at, and Stokely's like really fit in with them and stuff, and then we're going to job them to Copeland and Cage and tie up the tag belts in that limbo for ever how long.
I guess where I wasn't quite ready for Brody and Bandito to lose because I feel like Bandito's been moving up the card and I feel like they finally found like a good niche for Brody.
Mhm.
Because I think like tag guy is a good spot for him.
I think he could be capable of doing single stuff, but he was really good as the big guy in a tag team.
I
Matt,
just
you're
think
looking very perturbed. Have we upset you, or are you
his
just
No,
expressing disgust with
I
us?
I kind of agree with you. Like I could see him. I could see him with like one of the lower level titles, like the TNT title, or the national title, I guess. But I do think you're right. Like he worked really well as like the big guy in a tag team. I thought the what did they call it? What was the tag team? The Brodito
Brodito.
Rotito,
tag.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a great tag team. I enjoyed it. I'm not. It
His
was like
ceiling's just
a
higher.
makeshift tag teams. It was a makeshift tag team, so it's like I'm not upset at you taking the title off them necessarily. But I completely agree with you. Like to me, it just reeks of like this is just to set up the FTR Edge and like
Yeah.
well Copeland and Christian tag like feud. Like you're just setting that up again. So that's what this is really about. Maybe you're gonna put the titles on Copeland and Christian. I don't like that because it's very telegraphed to me, and
It's just like
I don't have that much interest. I don't know what you would actually necessarily. It's unfortunately possibly the most interesting use of Copeland and Christian at this point,
yeah, but
but I also don't
we
really want to see it.
I also feel like on my end, I mean I think they're better workers than the Dudleys and the Hardys, but I also feel like I would be a little
Oh, by
hypocritical to
far.
be like it feels a little hypocritical to shit on that so much and then be like, "Oh yay, Edge and Christian are the AEW tag champs." Like they're far better workers and like they've stayed in better shape. They're less embarrassing, but it's still the same thing where it's
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, this is 20 years ago. Can we move the fuck on already?"
Well, since we talked about them a little while ago, but I mean, and they're over. So this is a great example. But people love the Hurt Syndicate, but I'm far more interested in Ricochet and Gates of Agony. I love Gates of Agony. Like
Yeah.
I'm glad that those guys got paired with Ricochet, so at least on like TV every week
Yeah.
or every other week. Like they're on TV regularly, and it's like yeah, those are guys. Both those guys are unique. They're good. Like
They're
well, I
new.
think they're young. Yeah,
Dude.
they're new. Like they're guys. It's like yeah, like you had clearly Tony Khan likes them because you know he signed them, he pushed them in Ring of Honor. Now they're on like the main
And they
roster.
did, you
It's like
know, Tegan Knox pay attention. They came in and they did a lot of jobs and they did what they were told and they got taken care of.
I
Yeah.
don't understand. First off, this is not new. Like
Yeah.
this has been going back like decades. Like this is like the MO. But I don't understand how you don't have many examples, including Swerve, to the point where he's risen to the level of main event world champion. How do you not get that Tony Khan favors is like, oh, I'll come in and I'll prove myself by what do you want me to do? You want me to do a bunch of jobs? Do it with a smile on my face. I'm gonna sell my ass off for people.
Yeah.
And you earn Tony Khan's respect and he gives you more and more and more opportunities. Like that's worked for multiple guys now.
Or be like Bobby Eaton, where like Eric Bischoff literally like gave him 5 years of checks he probably didn't deserve because it was like, yeah, he was a nice guy. I liked having him around, so I just paid him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do, boss? Go out there
Yeah,
and have like a 5-minute match, lose, but make the guy look good. I got you.
Yeah. You go in, you do that, you prove that you can be trusted, you prove you're willing to do business, you get rewarded for it. This is not anybody who's paid attention would see that that's how it works. The only people that have sidestepped that, the only person that sidestepped, like off the top of my head, and it's probably why I'm grumpy about it, is Copeland and the Hurt Syndicate. And that doesn't really even apply to Shelton because Shelton's been happy to put people over, or maybe not happy to, but he's done it.
I
Shelton's put people over plenty of times.
but I think Lashley does have to be a little more protective than Shelton, like by virtue of who he is. Like I think they've gone a little overboard, but like I do think like like the thing MVP said where he's kind of like the devil on Bobby Lashley's shoulder. and saying like, no, you shouldn't do that. Like, I do think now, I think they probably take that a little too far, but I do think there is value in having someone like that on your shoulder because like if you have like because Bobby Lashley probably is a nice guy and there's probably like some like if Orange Cassidy's like, can I do like a German suplex followed by a top rope fuckinator, and then Lashley's probably like, yeah, we could do that, and MVP just like just do the top rope fuckinator. Like I think there's value in having like that kind of person in your career, which is like, no, the 200-pound man is not suplexing you, Bobby. You can do the top rope thing, but you're not doing the suplex thing. Like I think there's value in having that person around.
Sure. My problem is seeing multiple Bobby Lashley matches where he doesn't bump the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't take a bump the whole match. And I know this because I've sat there and watched it and been like, bump counter. And then sometimes it's like, does this count because it was him doing a move? If he did a belly-to-belly suplex, is he taking a bump? And I'm like, does that count? Because if it counts, he got up to 1.
Which I hate.
It's
I
like-
wish he was more cooperative because he has so much more personality when he's not in WWE.
What are you going to say, Matt?
Shad, you should put a sign in the back.
Like the Lodi thing.
No, it's X number of days
Bump
since Bobby
counter.
X number of days since Bobby Lashley took a bump like 0-0, and then you like patiently wait to see like, can I flip it to 1? Like,
Or like the Sid thing when he was in WCW when he was mocking Goldberg's streak, and they would have like the sign and they would like change it every time he like pinned someone. But I think my other
We're doing gimmicks, brother.
Yeah. I think my other issue with the Copeland Christian thing is like I am just over nostalgia in every like shape and form. I'm just done with it. Like I'm tired of it.
in fairness to Copeland, when he first came in, he was willing to wrestle against anybody. He's actually having like pretty good matches. And then they had the feud he had with Malachi, and they had that cage match, and he horribly injured himself, and he was out for a while. And since he came back, he's not been the same.
He's not been good.
And he hasn't been great. And I mean, but what are you gonna expect? Like when he came into AEW, he's like in his 50s. Like he was on borrowed time. Since he came back from the injury, you could either say like he's washed or he's just really protective because he knows like he doesn't have much left. And
I mean, he wasn't great
always...
before the injury. Like he had some sparks here and there, but like he wasn't even into like his WWE run. Like he had not been great.
But he at least like was willing, and when he first started AEW, he's at least willing to like go with people. Like, didn't we get like a Edge call him Copeland versus like what? Did he face Minoru Suzuki?
Yeah, he did. They did like a
It's like
it wasn't great, but
when would I ever get that? But,
it wasn't great, but I respect that he did like something.
He was
that
willing
far
to
out
go.
of his comfort zone.
He was doing the best he could. I actually enjoyed it, and then he got injured, and since then he hasn't been the same. And I don't even fault him for that because it's like you don't have a lot left in the tank. You know you don't have a lot left in the tank. Maybe you're going to be more reserved. I'm not expecting much. The problem is like the problem
is I have to watch it. Is the problem? Like I don't blame him, but the problem is I don't blame you for that, but I don't want to watch you do it either. That's kind of the problem. It's like I understand.
Yeah.
But I don't want I don't know how to make the Chris Rock bit work in this way, but it's like I don't blame you.
I understand.
Like I understand, but I don't want to watch you. Like get off my TV.
Yeah.
But I don't blame you. Just get off my TV.
They probably were always going to do the Copeland Christian reunion. I think that was always the goal. And I don't know how long Edge is going to be around. I doubt he's going to be around too much longer. Like this may be like the swan song, but they are telegraphing that's where the direction they're going to go. And I'm with you. It's like it's not interesting to me. Like,
and like Jurassic Express being back together also is like another one where I'm just like we're just regressing all over the place in this place, aren't we?
I don't have a problem with that.
It's in a vacuum, but with a lot of the other stuff going on, I'm just like we're just going backwards.
I think it's the best use for the two of them right now.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Matt. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm about to sneeze. So I was gonna select the mute button, but I agree with you. Like, unfortunately, that's
There it is.
Right when you didn't want to.
There
Sorry,
it goes.
I was able to mute. I think I muted myself.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you
Uh,
did. You did. You're good.
I agree. It's the best use of them, and I actually like both Luchasaurus and,
I do
and Jack
too.
Perry.
Oh, I like
Jack
him.
Perry, they're trying to like build him up. It you know, and Luchasaurus almost like real talk, like almost
Yeah.
died.
Yeah.
They
They
both
found
kind
him,
of
like-
need a rehab.
They found him like unconscious, didn't they?
Oh,
Yeah.
he was bad off, and I got scared because the circumstances was like, is this like another brutal
'Cause he-
situation?
Because he had like, was it pneumonia? Like he had real.
Yeah.
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 Double
His
pneumonia?
fiance found him at home, passed out.
Didn't he have like
pneumonia?
double pneumonia? Like the really like nasty like double or whatever.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, but
Hospital for
'cause
weeks.
he's back. So the fact that he's back and working and still like he's been back like actually good. Like I love it, but it is the best use of them for now. Like long term, like I don't know what they're gonna do with them.
I don't know. I think they need to.
But yeah, they're.
I
But
think they
that's
need
an
to-
example. It's like even if you're saying like, well, Jurassic Express, like, we're going backwards. It's like, yeah, but they're actually more interesting than FTR versus
Oh yeah.
Copeland.
Because I would actually have suggested like, well, who are you gonna have beat Brodito? I'd be like, why not Jurassic Express?
Yeah.
Number one with Jurassic Express, like I said, Luchasaurus was out for a long time. This is a good way of bringing him back, getting that. Jack Perry kind of needed an image rehab, so this is a good way to do that. I think the thing that frustrates me the most about the FTR Cope Cage thing is, frankly, it's Copeland, because he came in and said some of the exact same stuff that somebody else said. I want to come in and work with these young guys. And I know, it was his first run. It's the nostalgia run. He's not going to be putting people over yet, but he just beat all of them. And then he gets hurt doing a spot that wasn't planned, by the way. He just decided to go for it by jumping off the top of the cage like a moron.
Oh, is that how he got hurt in that match? Because remember they were doing that clickbait.
Yeah, he jumped off the top of his cage and put his feet down on the way down and broke his leg.
Because remember they were doing those clickbait saying he blamed Malachi Black for it, and I was kind of like, but you got hurt. Yeah, I was like, you got hurt by your own stupidity, dude.
Yeah, he was doing an elbow drop off the top of the cage and put his feet down and broke his leg. But the difference is, what did Christian Cage spend years doing? Was working with younger talent, elevating them. He did that. He did that working with Jack Perry. He did that working with Nick Wayne. He was actively doing that increased the profile of these younger guys. Perry beat him in the feud.
Even Kenny, to a degree, you could argue, because that was like the generation after him.
Yeah, well, that was an interesting wrinkle in that story that he did, and he was the right guy to do that wrinkle. It pulled the TNA title out of the belt collection to give it back to them. That's fine. Christian did all of that, and he did all of that from like the really early on, and now we're getting this nostalgia run thing, and it's like, with Cage, that doesn't really bother me, but with Copeland, I'm kind of like, I'm not enjoying it. I'm not here for it. I don't like this, and I want to see if Copeland's going to be around. I want to see him make good on I want to work with younger people and put them over. Then do it. Don't say that because it sounds good. Actually do it. Oh, but I want to have my nostalgia run for it. Do it. Damn it. Sorry. Yeah, I'm getting pissed off.
But you could.
Old veteran thing gets my soapbox out.
He could do that during the nostalgia run. Like, I mean, like, if you look at Dynamite Kid's kid, like, Dax does stuff with him here and there, and like makes him look good and stuff, and builds him up. Like, that's not detracting from anything he's doing.
Okay, the Dynamite Kid and Adam Priest match stuff that FTR did, That was great. That increased their stock, got them on TV. They had banger matches. You know, those guys could show up anywhere now with that on their resume and be like, "Oh, you don't think we're good enough to have around here? Here's 2 matches. Watch these. See how good they are." Awesome. Love it. Um, but what do we got? You know, I'm not. I'm grumpy, and I'm grumpy about old vet stuff. Is what it
Yeah.
really is.
And like
That's where I'm coming from.
we might as well just put the Acclaimed back together too, because that did not work.
You know, much as it surprises me, Max Caster did work. Max Caster
Oh,
is
he
over.
did. Anthony Bowens
Max
did
Caster.
not.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's sad because I think Bones is the better worker, but
But Max.
he,
But the
he
thing is,
did
with
not like that.
Max would have gotten over regardless, though, because Max would talk himself into being over.
And he'd be willing to. He spent what 8 months just getting his ass beat in less than 5 minutes by everybody that came
And he
through
got
the
more
curtain.
over doing it.
Yeah. Whereas I don't. Bowens had,
His gimmick sucked.
frankly, yeah, his gimmick sucked, and that
I-
messed with his return. People couldn't get behind it because it
It
was
was-
too wordy.
Well, I think we called it on the show. We said his gimmick was too baby's first wrestling gimmick.
I think it was the one he was using before AEW.
The five tool thing, which doesn't. You have to. Well, the problem with that is, okay,
It's literally inside baseball.
yeah, like you have to be a baseball fan to understand what that means. It doesn't really translate to wrestling. Like I think he would have been better off like being something like, the Pinnacle, just ripping off like Ricky Starks's deal. Like there's ways to do it. Like even if he would have done, because I think it translates better, even just instead of being like the 5-tool player being the blue chip prospect, that would have worked a lot better. But I think that's ripping someone else's. I think people have done that gimmick before, but that works better in a wrestling sense, because when you say, well, what's a because everyone knows what a blue chip like stock or a blue chip prospect is, like it works better. People might have gotten behind that better than the 5-tool player. I don't know. I didn't like his gimmick, and he did not get over.
It just didn't work. And if you want to put them back together, I'm understanding where we're coming from. But if the tag belts are going to be languishing in the FTR Cope Cage orbit for, I don't know, the next 6 months, then what's the point in putting them back together?
Yeah, it's true. Because you figure, are they going to go till Double or Nothing on like the Cope Cage FTR thing?
Probably.
Which I don't even hate FTR having the belts in like a vacuum, but like,
I don't have a problem with FTR having the belts. I have a problem for what it looks like they're going to do.
yeah,
Yes, I agree. Like FTR is a great tag team. They'll go down as one of the best tag teams of this era.
and they had a
And-
legendary year in like 22. There was a year like I don't remember which. I think it was 22. There was a year that they were just off the charts. Like
It's a career
Insane.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was the year they had the Briscoes matches, so that would have been 22. I think.
Yeah. It's going to go down. They're going to go down as they're in the discussion for one of the best tag teams of, I'll say all time, but certainly again of the last 20 years, easy.
They're wrestlers of the century. I think would be an easy thing to tag them with.
Yeah, they're fantastic. So them having the tag titles again, I don't mind. And if your concept is like you're gonna build the tag division, and have them face anyone and everyone, Brian Keith, Big Bill, the Outrunners, like the Bang Bang Gang, like whoever, like. But I don't think that's where they're gonna go. I think the direction is Copeland Christian, and I'm not excited about that. So
Yeah. Nostalgia. Like I said, I'm just done with nostalgia. Like if anything starts feeling like they're nostalgia baiting, I just automatically lose interest anymore because I'm tired of it. Like I'm tired of it as a crutch. I'm tired of like the cynical cash-ins. It's just I'm over it. And I'm not saying this is cynical. I know people. I don't know. Like, there's not a part of me that was like, hey, you know what I need? I need another Edge and Christian run. Like, I've never thought that since they broke up.
Yeah.
I am, for the most part, willing to hear AEW out because, for the most part, AEW has done a good job. I am not looking forward to hearing them out of the inevitable Cope Cage nostalgia run, and I know I've been awfully coy about the Hurt Syndicate stuff, but for the most part, it's like, okay, show me where we're going. Because I could very well be surprised and be happy with where it is. Cool, let's see that. But on this, I ain't confident on it. And it's the first time I've said that about an AEW thing in a long time.
The international title thing did piss me off too. I wasn't gonna rage too much about that, but that's another one because it's just like, then why did you introduce the national? Like, I mean, WWE's worse with too many belts, but AEW does have too many belts.
Look, if you were going to do, what I was going to say is, if you were going to do the splitting of the Continental and the International back up, great, do it. Okay, you know what? Do that. Matter of fact, well, they can't really do this because they already do it with the Owen, having the Continental be like a King of the Ring kind of thing. They already do that with the Owen Hart tournament, but it's at least different. It introduces a different. It in itself, the gimmick being a straight up only wrestling match, kind of makes it its own gimmick in the face of everything else. Okay, you know what? I could live with the TNT, the International, the Continental, and the World title. I can live with those as singles belts on the men's side. Okay, fine. I hate this stupid unified title stuff. Or if it was the unified title is just to represent that they're carrying both of them.
No, I'm not with you.
I don't like it, but I don't like it, but at least I understand.
Words mean things.
That it's only there to split until they split back up.
No, I get what you're saying. You're trying to find a happy medium, but my problem with that is words mean things, and unified means that they are together as a single belt now. Like I'm not like I know you're trying to find a silver lining, but this is, remember I flipped the fuck out about this when I think they were going to split the belt back up. They're talking they could always split the belt back up after they did the unified thing with Brock and Roman, and I was like,
they won't.
Yeah, but
they should have.
But my thing is like, just as a counter, in my opinion, on it, is like, if you say it's unified, that means it's a single belt now. Like, there is no there, like you would just be the Continental / International champion. Like, if you had two belts, like, if it's unified, then it's a single belt now. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And I know you're trying to find the silver lining, and like you agree essentially.
But my point is, if they did all that and did not have the national title, I would be in a far happier place. Even if I'd be like, this is unnecessary. But by taking, like, I liked the international title. I had a great time watching international title.
Well, they built it up so well with the orange rain. Like, the internet, that's my problem with it. The international belt meant something.
And then the Continental belt, I was cool with that too, because that represented something special, something different, where the gimmick was banger after banger after banger after banger. Cool. I'm fine with that too. The unified title, the side plates of having the one-winged angel and the Rainmaker on, it's like, that doesn't have a damn thing to do with either one of those belts.
Yeah, I know.
It does not have a damn thing to do with them. And I don't think
I was okay with the unified title because I thought it was getting them to the proper amount of belts. That's why I was okay with it, even though I was sad. I thought the international meant more than the continental. But they undid all of it, and then we have a new belt that doesn't mean anything now too. Like, that's where my issue with it is. Like, I think you and I have the same problem.
They need a mid-card title. They need a mid-card men's title. Honestly, if I go back to Matt's shirt, have it. WCW had cruiserweight, TV, U.S. world title, 4 singles titles that were places where you could work up the card.
But
You know what?
But two
Cool.
of them had different purposes though, because the cruiserweight was under a certain amount, and the TV
Yeah.
belt meant you were going to be on TV a lot with a smaller time limit defending
Yeah.
the belt.
International, Continental, TNT, world title. Same kind of thing. Same kind of thing. I don't want to take anything away from Ricochet. And honestly, I don't want to take anything away from the idea of having a touring belt. And frankly, the amount of hissy fit that came out of the NWA about the whole national title thing, and like, well, they can't look like that because we own it, when it turns out that the guy that makes the belts actually owns it. You know,
You mean
I can't
Billy Pumpkin's taking another L? Who would have thought?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. I don't know if it was him or if it was just the folks that worked for him, but whatever.
Oh, that's something that good old Billy Boy would have a little shit fit over. So it was probably him.
But I look at it and I'm like, I understand how we got to where we are, but I don't like the where we are on the stuff.
This is the stuff I was having an issue with before. It's like the inattention to detail, and like I hate to say this, but it's like it's very WCW of them in some ways. Like there's just I don't know, it feels like it wasn't thought through, and that's what bothers me. It's just like the whole national title thing. You could have just used the international title and saved us all this bullshit, and it would have meant more as a title.
Yeah. Okay, I'm stopping to breathe. Matt's also been very patiently waiting for me to shut up.
I think he's just laughing at us complaining about title belts.
That's true. We're complaining about the golden trophies in a not sport.
I mean, I kind of agree. There's too many titles, but I also I'm a little numb to it. I mean, I don't think there should be as many titles, but it's not something that works me up so much. I think they should probably get some sort of equilibrium with it. Like I like you said, I actually liked when they unified the Continental and the international. What
International, I keep wanting to say Intercontinental too. So
unify it, but then they did weird things like with the Okada's gonna defend the Continental with the Continental Classic. It's like, what? Why? I thought everything's unified now. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't even mind the new national, because again, I think that it's fine to reward a guy like Ricochet with something, but I don't know. You should have it really delineated, and it's tough to criticize AEW in a sense because there's so many other almost every other promotion does multiple titles.
Yeah, I do.
WWE has an insane amount of titles between the three
20
brands.
something belts, I think there.
Yeah.
Wasn't the wasn't the what they call the international before it became was the All Atlantic belt?
All Atlantic.
Wasn't that meant to be a touring belt when it started?
I don't know. Maybe.
Even if they're gonna my point, even if you include New Japan, New Japan has a shitload of titles.
Yeah, too many belts.
CMLL has a ton of titles, to the point where people when Mercedes won the CML women's title, people were grumbling, because people always grumble when she wins the title. But
belts don't mean the same.
People like Rob.
People
like Rob Viper have and other people have Lucha Blog have been you guys don't understand. It's fine that she holds the title. It's gonna add more hype profile to this. Just in general, it's
and belts
you can have a guy win a title of CMLL and hold it for 3 years.
Yeah, belts
And
don't mean much in lucha
Yeah.
libre. Like they emphasize
Yeah.
them for a while, but like you could be like the middleweight champion and it won't matter for like 2 years. Like it's just they like belts don't mean a lot in lucha, so I don't. But that's newcomers coming in. But it's just like belts don't mean a damn thing, really. Claudio actually just won their world title. But it's just like when people were grumbling about it, it's like it's the Lucha Libre belt. Like they'll forget about it for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do. But yeah.
Speaking
go ahead.
Hold on. Speaking of Claudio winning the title, like I saw some clips of that. Like the Death Riders were in CMLL and got true heel heat, like people throwing shit in the ring. Like you guys got to leave before you're gonna start a riot type of heat, and it's like, that's my boys like that.
Yeah. Did you see Garcia's Spanish promo?
I did not see that.
He did a good. The sound quality on it's weird because it sounds like it's dubbed, but he's lined up on it so perfectly. It's like it's not dubbed. It's just weird sound stuff. But Garcia cuts a damn good promo in Spanish, and then the other he's cutting the promo, and Yuta stands there and he's just doing the, because what else are you gonna do? But Garcia did a good job with it.
That was.
I didn't see if Claudio did anything.
As a side note, that's one of my favorite tiny little angles that happen on a single episode in WWE. This is barely anyone's gonna remember this, but so it was Kai and Tai were walking by Lita and Essa Rios when they had first debuted, and they're talking shit about them in Spanish. And then they're like, "What the fuck?" Because they spoke Spanish too, and they didn't realize that. And then that led to like a match on the show or whatever. I always like the nuance to that because they're like, "Oh, these Asian guys don't speak Spanish." And I'm like, "What the fuck, dude? We speak Spanish, like asshole."
Who was it that? It was with Ultimo Dragon. Is that Jericho and Ultimo could work together because they both spoke enough Spanish that they could get by.
Yeah.
And that Jericho worked Ultimo so much in WAR. I think that's right.
Val Venus can speak pretty good. I've seen.
Oh, he can speak excellent, dickhead.
He did. He used to, like I've seen him do CMLL stuff and do like his Val Venus stuff in Spanish, which is funny. You trying to see if you can find it?
I'm not gonna find it in time, but it was like, what the hell? Let's take a look.
I have to say I'm a little perturbed with AEW because I was enjoying the year and they kind of went off the rails for a night on me.
When AEW's not great, I am still far happier with it than I have been with a lot of wrestling for a long time. So
I think I'm just a little more sensitive about it because like they had been doing better this year and I thought they'd been making a lot of good strides, and I feel like they backslid on me. I think is why I'm a little more upset about it.
how can I put? As far back as I can remember in wrestling, there's waves where I'm really happy with the product, I'm not happy with it, and it's up and down stuff. And so it's like, oh, we're hitting another one of those waves, I think. But even with that being said, the floor to my AEW enjoyment historically has been a lot higher than it has for a lot of other stuff.
They usually give me a thing. Like that's the thing I've always said about AEW is AEW usually gives me a thing I am interested in enough to keep watching.
Yeah. Look, I know Hangman lost the title, and I didn't want that to happen, but I think Swerve and Hangman are going to murder the living hell out of the Ops, and that's going to be pretty cool. Is it going to turn out the way I want it to? Don't know, but I think it's going to be pretty cool. And if they get to the end, and when it's time to face Joe, and they get there, and they're standing there, and Hangman looks at Swerve and goes, "You were there for me. I need to be there for you." I'm going to be like, okay, I'm here for it. Because it's Hangman being the stand-up guy, like, okay, I can understand that. I wish that they would have taken a little longer to get there, but I get it. we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. So we have anything else we want to talk about before the end of the show? We kind of hit the big points, I think, of the last 2 weeks of wrestling.
I don't think so.
I was trying to think of something else. There was some other juicy bit of drama. I mean, Becky Hogan's been running her mouth a lot in a lot of cringy ways, but I don't think that's worth talking about. She did lose the belt. Oh, she did lose the stupid Intercontinental belt to Maxine Dupree. That's why I said I'm buying in on the Becky Hogan thing, because she made sure to lose that belt to someone that like would not be a threat to her whatsoever, or like get anything out of it.
I guess I guess I'll just say about the women's War Games match, which people have noted, both the men and the women's. Like Tony Khan actually had a dub doing Blood and Guts before, because people did not receive the Survivor Series War Games match as well.
No.
Like the whole pay-per-view premium live event like was not well received, but the AEW Blood and Guts matches were far more well received than the WWE matches. People did not care for them, and that was all over social media, which I'm sure irked the WWE, because they are obsessed with, like, you know, their social media impressions, and now people are commenting upon them. But the women's War Games matches, there was a spot. The only known like memorable spot was Io Sky did for the 4th year in a row the spot where she puts a trash can over her head and then dives. And people are even shitting on that, because basically they did the thing we talked about before, where it's like, oh, you're gonna do a dive spot. Oh, let's everyone like mill about for like 30 seconds while you set up the spot and just stare at you. And I get that it's like you're supposed to suspend disbelief, but it's also like, yeah, exactly. You're like,
gee, I wonder if this match ends quick enough, I can still make it to McDonald's before it closes. Oh God, I'm dead.
Yeah,
that
it's just
let me text Seth here real quick. Oh, I hope, you know, is it still open? And like, now it's like, oh God, I'm dead.
Yeah, she did the spot, and I guess so. Sorry to cut you off, Shep, but some people.
It's okay.
I guess Wade Barrett on commentary immediately after it happened, he goes like, "Oh, this is going to go viral," and it's like someone commented on Twitter. It's like, well, this is what they care about. It's clear that WWE this is what they care about.
That should never come out of saying that'll go viral. Should never come out of your mouth on a wrestling show.
Yeah, but someone commented, and they're probably true. It's like, this is what you care about. That you had a moment that went viral versus like, was this actually a good match? Because most people thought it was not a good match.
Shad, I hope you're going to compare it to what I think you're going to compare it to, but let's see if I'm on the same page.
That's actually not what I was going to do. For as long as that took, because Io's up there and they throw her the thing, it takes her forever to put it on. I listened to this interview that Stephen Amell did, and he said the thing that surprised me was Triple H told him, whatever you're doing, slow down. Take more time, because you can take more time and it's there. And it's like, you know, that coming out of Triple H means that a lot of stuff suddenly makes sense right now. Because, yes, what'll happen with new people is that they'll do a thing and they'll immediately rush into the next thing, and it doesn't get a chance to breathe and have the audience react. But you don't have all the time in the world, because if you wait too long, people go from being excited to it to they go from they go from excited to being frustrated with how long they're waiting, which is kind of what I got out of how long it took for her to do it. Someone posted a video of it from the crowd, and that looked better than the actual feed video on the actual show, because they kept everybody just standing there watching her like this in the shot. They didn't zoom the shot in on just that and then cut it or pull back whenever she jumped or anything. They just kept the whole wide angle thing. And look, you can't Triple H saying, "Oh, just slow down, slow down, take whatever time out there you need." It's like that just says so much.
I thought you were gonna say it reminded you of Austin Powers with the security guard when they run him over with the forklift.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
No, that's not where I was going with it. But it just frustrates me. It could be there's a happy medium on that. You got to give it enough time that people get excited for it, but you can't wait that long. You've got to
I
do it.
I don't know why she can't climb the cage and do all of her horse shit while they continue to brawl, and then someone like kind of is watching and be like, "Hey, we need to catch it," and then they all
Yeah.
turn and catch her. Like, because then people online are defending like, "Well, everyone was mad when they dropped Tiffany." Yeah, because it was they fucking dropped her, but like that doesn't mean I wanted them to wait an hour for Tiffany to jump so they
Yeah.
could make sure to catch her. Like you said, there's a happy medium.
Yeah.
And my thing is that you can't make it look good, then don't do it. Like that's
Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah.
and I think
You
that and I
pretty
think the
much.
trash can thing is stupid anyway. So
If you do the exact same spot 4 years in a row, then
it's
it just screams a lack of creativity.
well, it's like the Kofi thing with the Rumble again,
Yeah. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
has ruined that. But okay, I think that's it. I think next week we are bringing back by popular demand a form of the Hallmark Christmas movie game.
Oh, I've got stuff written down for when we do that. Oh, I hope you guys are ready for awful. It's coming. I've got notes, guys. I've got notes. Yeah. Oh, here we go. I hope you're ready. This is gonna suck.
So I think what he's done is he has a number of actual Hallmark movies, and then he generated movies in AI, and we have to figure out what's real and what's fake.
Oh, I didn't use any AI.
Okay.
These are all short synopses, but I didn't use any AI for them. I came up with this awfulness on my own.
Because there was a funny thing they did on the flagship once where they had to guess if it was an NXT wrestler or a character from the Dragon Fucker books. I don't know what they're called. Shit, what are they called? Those Dragon Fucker books. I don't. Oh fuck, what are they called? Second Wing or something like that. Something like that. But they were playing a game where you had to guess. And I wanted to do that for the show at one point where I made a bunch of names in AI and you had to figure out if it was an NXT wrestler or that. But what are they called?
Is it like Golden Wing or something
No,
like that?
they're like a romance series. Let me see if
I know what. Okay, here's why I'm laughing, because the reason I know what you're talking about is that I just watched a clip from a guy doing a stand-up bit about it, and I'm trying.
like they're
I'm
enough that I could walk up to a middle-aged woman and be like, "What are the Dragon Fucker books called?" And they would know what I was talking about.
Bo Richardson, I think. I think that's his name. Oh, for God's sake, Wikipedia, stop it. It's not it.
I can't find him. Oh.
Anyway, there was it was Bo Johnson. Bo Johnson has a bit about those, and it's the guy is really good, so it's worth finding, I guess. He went in to just go buy a book to take on the road with him and was shocked at what he discovered in what he thought was a regular fantasy book.
There's a shoe on head video about these books, and it was what was the book called? Morning Glory Milking Farm or something. I won't go further in because we'll get in trouble, but it's
Yeah.
Fourth Wing is what the Dragon Fucker books are.
Okay. All right. I think we can
Yeah.
can call it here,
We've gotten
gentlemen.
we've gotten too deep into filth now, so
Yeah,
we certainly have.
Matt's looking it up
we are
right now.
pulling the
and
drag chute.
The look on Matt's face tells me he's looking up what that book is.
I'm not. I'm
You
too afraid to.
You can watch the shoe.
That's a good call.
You can watch the shoe on head video. Okay. Well, that is it for this week. Thank you for joining us as always. I need to hit the right button because I'm playing with ending the call versus the stream. But thank you for joining us as always. This has been Matt, Shad, and Brad. We've been in the three corners. You've been in the fourth. I can't talk right now. So thanks for everything, and we will catch you next time.